When Eden Hazard joined Real Madrid in 2019, fans expected a new Galactico era filled with dazzling dribbles, stunning goals, and breathtaking performances. Yet, what unfolded was a far cry from the dream. Instead of mesmerizing moments, Hazard's time at Real Madrid has been marred by struggles, setbacks, and unfulfilled potential. What really went wrong? Join us on Goalgist as we dive deep into the complex reasons behind Eden Hazard's Real Madrid struggles. When Real Madrid splashed out over €100 million to bring Eden Hazard from Chelsea, the excitement was palpable. Hazard had just come off a stellar season, leading Chelsea to Europa League glory with a series of sensational performances. He was expected to fill the void left by Cristiano Ronaldo and become the new face of Los Blancos. The anticipation was immense. Hazard was seen as the perfect blend of skill, creativity, and experience. Exactly what Real Madrid needed to reclaim their dominance in Europe. But from the very start, things didn't go as planned. Injuries have undoubtedly been a significant part of Hazard's struggles at Real Madrid. Just weeks into his debut season, Hazard suffered a hamstring injury that kept him out for nearly a month. This was just the beginning. Over the next few seasons, a series of injuries ranging from muscle strains to more severe ankle fractures constantly sidelined him. These injuries not only disrupted his rhythm, but also prevented him from building any consistent form. Each time Hazard seemed on the verge of finding his feet, another setback would occur, pulling him back into rehabilitation. The frequent injuries raised questions about his fitness levels, his ability to withstand the physical demands of La Liga, and even the club's medical management. But while injuries are a significant piece of the puzzle, they are far from the only reason behind Hazard's struggles. When Hazard arrived at Real Madrid, he faced immediate criticism for his physical condition. Reports suggested he was overweight, and photos from preseason training seemed to confirm this. Hazard himself admitted that he had gained weight during the summer break. This lack of fitness affected his performance on the pitch. He seemed slower, less agile, and far from the explosive player who had dazzled at Chelsea. In a league as demanding as La Liga, maintaining peak physical condition is crucial, and Hazard's struggles in this area were evident. The challenge of staying fit and in top shape was compounded by his injuries. Each recovery period meant starting from scratch, making it difficult for Hazard to regain and maintain his fitness levels. This cycle of injury, recovery, and re-injury created a significant barrier to his success at Real Madrid. Beyond physical issues, Hazard faced challenges adapting to Real Madrid's tactical setup. At Chelsea, he was the focal point of the attack, often given the freedom to roam and create. At Real Madrid, he found himself in a more structured system, where his role was less central. Under Zinedine Zidane, Real Madrid's playstyle emphasized teamwork and defensive solidity, with less reliance on individual brilliance. Hazard, who thrived in situations where he could express himself freely, found it difficult to adapt to this more disciplined approach. Moreover, Real Madrid's reliance on crossing and quick transitions didn't always play to Hazard's strengths. He was used to cutting inside, linking up with midfielders, and creating opportunities through dribbling and close control. This tactical misfit meant that even when he was on the pitch, Hazard couldn't fully showcase his abilities. Another critical factor in Hazard's Real Madrid struggles is the immense psychological pressure he faced. Replacing a legend like Cristiano Ronaldo is no small task. The expectations from fans, media, and the club were enormous. Hazard was expected to deliver immediately, and any failure to do so was met with intense scrutiny. This pressure can weigh heavily on any player, no matter how talented. The constant comparisons to Ronaldo, the relentless media attention, and the high stakes of playing for one of the world's biggest clubs created a challenging environment for Hazard. This psychological burden was exacerbated by his injuries and inconsistent performances. Each setback added to the pressure, creating a vicious cycle of expectation and disappointment. For Hazard, coping with this pressure while trying to regain form was a significant challenge. The COVID-19 pandemic also played a role in Hazard's Real Madrid story. The pandemic disrupted football schedules, led to long breaks, and created an unusual and challenging environment for players to maintain their form and fitness. For Hazard, who was already struggling with injuries and fitness issues, the pandemic added another layer of difficulty. The lack of regular match practice, the disruptions to training routines, and the psychological impact of the pandemic all contributed to his struggles. Furthermore, the pandemic affected the club's financial situation, making it harder for Real Madrid to invest in new players and resources that might have helped Hazard adapt better. The overall uncertainty and instability of the period impacted not just Hazard but the entire footballing world. Despite the challenges, there were moments where Hazard showed glimpses of his old self. Each return from injury brought hope that he might finally find his form. There were flashes of brilliance, moments where his dribbling, vision, and creativity reminded everyone of the player he once was. The club and fans remained patient, hoping that Hazard would overcome his struggles and become the star they believed he could be. Coaches tried different strategies, positions, and approaches to help him rediscover his best form. Hazard himself worked tirelessly to regain his fitness and confidence. He showed resilience and determination, qualities that endeared him to many. But the road to recovery was never straightforward, and each setback was a harsh reminder of the challenges he faced. Another factor complicating Hazard's situation was the performance of his teammates. At Real Madrid, he was surrounded by world-class players who continued to perform at high levels. The emergence of young talents like Vinicius Jr. and Rodrigo, who brought energy and consistency to the team, further highlighted Hazard's struggles. These comparisons were inevitable and often unfair. While his teammates thrived, Hazard's inability to match their performances drew more criticism and scrutiny. The success of others made his own struggles more pronounced, adding to the pressure and frustration. The comparisons extended beyond the pitch. In the media and among fans, Hazard was frequently compared to other high-profile signings and former club legends. These comparisons, while natural, added to the narrative of underachievement and placed an even greater burden on Hazard. Throughout Hazard's time at Real Madrid, the club experienced several managerial changes. Each new manager brought a different philosophy, tactics, and expectations. For Hazard, this lack of stability made it difficult to find a consistent role within the team. Under Zidane, Hazard was given time and patience to recover from his injuries and find his form. However, Zidane's departure and the subsequent appointment of Carlo Ancelotti brought new challenges. Ancelotti's tactical approach and expectations differed, and Hazard had to adapt once again. The constant changes in management and tactics created an environment of uncertainty. Hazard, who was already struggling with fitness and form, found it challenging to adjust to these changes and establish himself within the team. Moving to a new country, learning a new language, and adapting to a different culture are significant challenges for any player. For Hazard, these personal adjustments added another layer of difficulty to his Real Madrid journey. While he had experienced success in the Premier League, the transition to La Liga required adjustments on and off the pitch. Adapting to the Spanish lifestyle, the expectations of the club, and the different style of play all required time and patience. These personal and cultural adjustments, coupled with the immense pressure and scrutiny, made Hazard's adaptation process even more complex. Despite these challenges, he continued to work hard, showing resilience and determination. But unfortunately, he has officially retired from the world of football. But the question still goes, was Real Madrid a wrong move or was he just too lazy to fit in? Eden Hazard's time at Real Madrid has been anything but smooth. While injuries have played a significant role in his struggles, the reasons are far more complex. Fitness issues, tactical misalignment, psychological pressure, the impact of COVID-19, and personal adaptation have all contributed to his challenges. Even though Hazard never shined at Real Madrid, we can all say bravo to his career at Chelsea, the best version of Hazard. Join us next time on Goalgist as we explore more captivating stories from the world of football. Until then, remember that behind every player's struggles are countless unseen challenges and untold stories. It's these stories that make football the beautiful game we all love.